Well, folks, grab your popcorn because American politics just got its own reality TV show, and the drama is juicier than a primetime soap opera. Imagine this. One of the richest guys on the planet, Elon Musk, who used to be best buddies with the Republican Party, has just had a massive public falling out with none other than President Donald Trump himself. Yes, you heard that right. It's like watching your two most unpredictable uncles suddenly decide Thanksgiving dinner is the perfect place for a cage match. This isn't just some minor disagreement over who gets the last slice of pie. This is a full-blown political earthquake, and the tremors are shaking Washington as we speak, right here in June 2025. This whole saga exploded recently, and it's got everyone talking, from cable news pundits to your cousin who only gets political on X, formerly Twitter, thanks to Elon. It's a big deal because Musk wasn't just a casual supporter of the GOP. Oh no, he was like their sugar daddy, showering them with enormous amounts of cash, especially during the 2024 elections. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. So when a guy who bankrolled your party's recent successes suddenly starts throwing punches, you know things are about to get messy. It's a plot twist nobody saw coming, or maybe some did, because, well, it's Elon and Trump. The core of this spectacular bust-up seems to be a new tax and spending bill. Musk, who even had a fancy government job trying to cut spending head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, no kidding, thinks this new bill doesn't cut nearly enough. Plus, it yanks away some sweet tax credits for electric vehicles, which, you know, is kind of his main business. So, he's not happy. Not happy at all. And when Elon Musk isn't happy, he doesn't just write a strongly worded letter. He goes full internet warrior. This isn't just a spat anymore, it's a declaration of war. Musk has taken to his favorite playground, X, to blast Trump, the Speaker of the House, the Senate Majority Leader, basically anyone in a Republican power suit who supports this bill. He's threatening to fund opponents against them, talking about starting his own political party, and generally causing chaos. It's a fascinating and slightly terrifying spectacle of what happens when big money, big egos, and big politics collide. And it's happening right now, making everyone wonder what this means for the future of the Republican Party and, well, America. Before this dramatic breakup, Elon Musk and the Republican Party were quite the item. It might seem strange now, watching them trade insults like kids in a schoolyard, but Musk was a significant figure in conservative circles. He wasn't just attending their parties, he was helping pay for them, and in a big way. Think of him as the guy who always picks up the ridiculously expensive dinner tab. His support wasn't just vocal, it was financial, and very, very generous. This wasn't a quiet courtship, it was a full-blown, headline-grabbing romance fueled by a shared desire for, well, things Elon liked at the time. In the lead-up to the 2024 elections, Musk really opened his wallet for the GOP. We're talking about a staggering figure, nearly $300 million. That's not chump change. That's enough to buy a small island or, apparently, help a political party win big. This massive donation made him the largest-known Republican donor in that cycle. His money was seen as a key ingredient in the Republican recipe for success, helping them gain control of the White House, the Senate, and the House. It was a Republican trifecta, and many believed Musk's financial firepower was a crucial part of that victory. It's quite a turnaround, isn't it? From GOP hero to public enemy number one in just a few short months. Even top Democrats, like House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, admitted that Trump might have lost the 2024 election if it hadn't been for Musk's substantial backing. That's how influential his support was perceived to be. He wasn't just a donor. He was, for a time, an insider. He even took on a role in the Trump administration as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. His mission? To slash federal spending. Oh, the irony is delicious, isn't it? So this history makes the current feud all the more shocking and significant. It's like finding out Batman and Robin are now mortal enemies. Musk's deep financial ties and his previous alignment with Republican goals made him a powerful ally. His sudden, aggressive turn against the party he helped build up is not just a personal squabble. It's a seismic event that threatens to redraw the political map. The party he once championed is now firmly in his crosshairs, and everyone is wondering how deep the damage will be. So what was the big bang that caused this spectacular implosion? What turned Elon Musk, the GOP's former financial fairy godmother, into their loudest critic? It all boils down to a piece of legislation, a new tax and spending bill that recently squeaked through the House. Musk, who, remember, was literally in charge of a department called DOGE to cut government spending, took one look at this bill and basically lost it. He believes it doesn't go nearly far enough in trimming the fat from government budgets. For a guy obsessed with efficiency, this was apparently a cardinal sin. But wait, there's more. This bill also had a little something extra that really got under Musk's skin. It proposed removing tax credits for electric vehicles. Now, if your name is Elon Musk and you own Tesla, a company that makes a fortune selling electric vehicles, this part of the bill is not just bad policy, it's personal. It's like a bill proposing to outlaw rockets to Mars. He saw this as a direct hit to his business interests, and perhaps his vision for an electric future. So the combination of not enough spending cuts and hitting my EV business was the perfect storm. The bill in question is a hefty one. It aims to cut taxes by a massive $3.7 trillion over a decade. But it also plans to cut government spending by only $1.3 trillion over that same period. You don't need to be a math whiz or the head of DOGE to see that this leaves a pretty big gap, a $2.4 trillion deficit to be exact. For Musk, who was brought in to be the government's Marie Kondo of spending, sparking joy by throwing out old budgets, this was apparently not the kind of tidying up he had in mind. This legislative showdown became the flashpoint. Musk felt betrayed. He had poured money and effort into the Republican cause, even taking a government job, presumably with the expectation that his views on fiscal conservatism and perhaps his business interests would be at the very least considered. When this bill emerged, looking like a compromise he couldn't stomach, it seems he decided his alliance with Trump and the GOP was no longer sustainable. The honeymoon was officially over, and the divorce proceedings were about to get very, very public. Once Elon decided the gloves were off, he didn't just subtly withdraw his support. Oh no, this is Elon Musk we're talking about. He went straight to his digital battlefield X and unleashed a torrent of attacks. President Trump, who is no stranger to an online feud himself, found himself in Musk's direct line of fire. Musk accused Trump of lying, which is a pretty bold claim to make against a sitting president you recently supported. He didn't stop there. He even reposted calls for Trump's impeachment. Talk about a 180-degree turn. This is like your biggest fan suddenly becoming your harshest critic, with millions of followers watching. The accusations got even spicier. Musk started hinting at, and in some cases outright stating, some pretty wild stuff. He alleged that Trump had a cozy relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, or that Trump might appear in some unreleased Epstein files. These are incredibly serious and inflammatory claims, designed to do maximum damage. Musk also didn't limit his targets. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune also felt his wrath. He basically declared open season on any Republican backing the controversial bill, threatening to fund primary challengers to unseat them. He even posted, "Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40+ years. Shots fired." Of course, Donald Trump isn't exactly known for turning the other cheek when attacked. He hit back hard. Trump declared that Musk just went crazy and called him the man who has lost his mind. Classic Trump. He blamed Musk's fury squarely on the removal of the EV tax credits, suggesting it was all about Elon's wallet, not some principled stand on government spending. Trump also jabbed at Musk's recent government role, saying Musk was wearing thin at DOGE. To add a little salt to the wound, Trump even threatened to look into cancelling federal subsidies for Musk's other businesses, like SpaceX. He's reportedly even considering selling his Tesla. Ouch. This online slugfest is more than just entertainment. It's a high-stakes battle for narrative control. Both men have massive platforms and legions of followers. Musk is trying to paint Trump and the GOP as fiscally irresponsible and possibly corrupt, while Trump is portraying Musk as an unhinged billionaire, angry about losing his special perks. The language is brutal, the accusations are flying, and the whole world is watching to see who lands the next punch. It's a digital brawl with very real-world consequences for the Republican Party and American politics. Imagine you're at a big family dinner, and your rich uncle suddenly starts a screaming match with Grandpa. That's pretty much the vibe in the Republican Party right now with this Elon Musk versus Donald Trump meltdown. Most GOP lawmakers are acting like the rest of the family, trying to pretend nothing's happening, or quietly wishing everyone would just calm down and pass the gravy. They are desperately trying to downplay the conflict, hoping it's just a temporary tantrum that will blow over before it ruins the whole party. After all, nobody wants to choose sides between the guy signing the checks and the guy leading the party. Representative Richard Hudson, who's in charge of the House GOP's campaign arm, publicly stated he hopes the whole spat will just blow over. You can almost hear the nervous chuckle. It's the political equivalent of saying, "Look, a squirrel," to distract from the unfolding chaos. But not everyone is staying quiet or playing peacemaker. Some of the more staunch fiscal conservatives, the ones who genuinely care about cutting spending, are actually distancing themselves from Musk's aggressive tactics, even if they might privately agree with his complaints about the bill. They feel he's gone too far. For instance, Representative Chip Roy, a well-known fiscal hawk from Texas, said that Musk crossed the line with his attacks. Another congressman, Tim Burchett from Tennessee, dismissed Musk as just another shiny object, basically saying he's a distraction. This shows a split even among those who might be sympathetic to Musk's original complaints about government spending. They might agree with the message, but they definitely don't like the messenger's delivery method, especially when it involves attacking the party leader and threatening to burn the whole house down. It's a tricky balancing act for these Republicans. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, some Republicans are reportedly questioning how effective Musk's past spending really was. They're whispering that maybe they were already preparing for the 2026 midterms without relying so heavily on his money. It's a bit like saying, "We never really liked your cooking anyway," after the chef storms out of the kitchen. However, with a slim 3-seat majority in the House, and Speaker Mike Johnson warning that failing to pass Trump's bill could cost them that majority, the internal anxiety is palpable. They need unity, and Elon Musk is currently a one-man wrecking ball to that unity. This explosive feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump isn't just a celebrity spat. It's a serious threat to the Republican Party's cohesion and their chances in upcoming elections, especially the 2026 midterms. Think of the MAGA coalition as a Jenga tower. It was already a bit wobbly, and Musk just pulled out a massive block from the bottom. Politico described this as a massive crack in the MAGA coalition, and that's honestly not an exaggeration. When one of your biggest donors and a high-profile figure declares war, it sends shockwaves through the entire structure, and Republicans are nervously watching for signs of collapse. The timing couldn't be worse for the GOP. They are currently clinging to a razor-thin 3-seat majority in the House of Representatives. Every seat counts, and any internal division or loss of significant funding can tip the scales. Musk isn't just criticizing, he's actively threatening to fund primary challenges against Republicans who don't toe his line on spending. This means Republicans could end up fighting expensive battles against each other, weakening them before they even face the Democrats. It's a nightmare scenario for party strategists trying to hold on to power. Speaker Mike Johnson himself has sounded the alarm. He warned that if the party can't unite and pass President Trump's legislative agenda, including this controversial tax and spending bill, they could very well lose their House majority in 2026. That's a stark admission of how precarious their situation is. Musk's rebellion adds a huge dose of uncertainty and instability. If he follows through on his threats to pour money into unseating incumbent Republicans, it could divert resources and attention away from key races against Democrats, potentially handing victories to the opposition. The broader impact on GOP unity is also a major concern. The Republican Party, especially under Trump, has demanded a high degree of loyalty. Musk's very public and aggressive defiance could embolden other dissenters or create deeper factions within the party. While current polls suggest most Republicans are siding with Trump over Musk in this feud, the disruption itself is damaging. It distracts from their agenda, projects an image of chaos, and gives Democrats plenty of ammunition. The question is no longer just about policy. It's about whether the MAGA movement can withstand such a high-profile internal enemy. When a billionaire throws a political tantrum, the first question everyone asks is, what about the money? Elon Musk was, as we know, a huge ATM for the Republican Party in 2024, dispensing nearly $300 million. So if he decides to turn off that money tap, or worse, point the fire hose of cash at candidates opposing mainstream Republicans, that's got to hurt, right? Well, it's complicated. Some GOP operatives are definitely worried. Chris Motola, a Republican consultant, noted that if Musk doesn't contribute significantly to the midterms, say around $100 million, that's a hole that has to be filled. Finding that kind of cash isn't easy. However, there's also a counter-argument brewing within GOP circles. Some are starting to question just how effective Musk's spending has actually been in the past. For example, his super PAC, called America PAC, spent a hefty $19.2 million backing GOP candidates in 18 tough House races in 2024. Republicans won 10 of those, which sounds okay, but that spending only accounted for about 12% of all Republican outside money in those races. The Congressional Leadership Fund, a more traditional GOP group, spent way more. It suggests Musk's money was helpful, but maybe not the make-or-break factor in every race. Then there's the more recent evidence. In 2025, one of Musk's biggest political pushes was in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. He backed the conservative candidate, presumably with significant resources, but that candidate ended up losing by almost 10 points. That's not a great return on investment. This has led some Republicans to privately suggest they were already planning their 2026 strategy without counting on another massive windfall from Musk. They're trying to project an image of "we'll be fine," but losing a donor of that magnitude still stings, no matter how you spin it. Furthermore, there's the question of loyalty among political operatives. Top Trump campaign figures like Chris Lascivita and Tony Fabrizio had previously signed up with Musk's Building America's Future PAC. This creates a potential conflict of interest now that Musk and Trump are at war. Will these operatives stick with Musk and risk alienating the former and current president? A former RNC official expressed doubt that many seasoned GOP operatives would choose to work with Musk if his goal is to divide the party. So, Musk might have the money, but he might struggle to find the experienced political hands to effectively weaponize it against his newfound enemies. Elon Musk isn't just grumbling about a bill, he's talking about scorched earth. An advisor to Musk reportedly said he does not give a about Republicans or the RNC, he will blow them up. That's not exactly subtle. Beyond funding primary challenges against Republicans he dislikes, Musk has floated the idea of launching a third party. Now, third parties in America have a history of, well, not winning much, but they can certainly play spoiler. Imagine a Musk-funded party siphoning off even a small percentage of votes from Republican candidates in tight races. That could be enough to hand victories to Democrats. And speaking of Democrats, Musk has even threatened to support them if that's what it takes to defeat Trump's agenda. This is a wild card. If Musk decides to use his immense wealth to back Democratic candidates in key districts, purely out of spite or as a strategic move against Trump-aligned Republicans, it could seriously scramble the political calculus. Democrats are, understandably, quite pleased with this development. Democratic operative Simon Rosenberg gleefully stated, "This is doing enormous damage to Donald Trump." They see this internal GOP war as a gift, weakening their opponents from within. The threats don't stop there. Trump allies, clearly rattled, are already calling for investigations into Musk. They want to look into his immigration status, his security clearance, given SpaceX's government contracts, alleged drug use, and his business ties to China. This shows how nasty the fight is getting and how high the stakes are. It's turning into an all-out war, with both sides looking for vulnerabilities to exploit. The White House, through OMB Director Russell Vought, is trying to project calm, stating they are full steam ahead on Trump's legislative agenda. But this drama is undoubtedly a huge distraction. What is Musk's ultimate endgame? Is he genuinely trying to reshape the Republican Party into a more fiscally austere version of itself? Is he trying to build a new political force? Or is this an epic billionaire-sized tantrum because he didn't get his way on EV credits and spending cuts? It's probably a bit of all of the above. Musk is known for his disruptive tendencies, and he now seems determined to disrupt the entire Republican establishment. Whether he succeeds in blowing them up, or just causes a lot of noise and collateral damage remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, he's making everyone very nervous. So, here we are, June 2025, watching one of the most unexpected political feuds unfold in real time. The battle between Elon Musk, the tech titan with a Twitter, or X trigger finger, and Donald Trump, the master of political branding and comebacks, is more than just a headline-grabbing spectacle. It signifies a potentially profound shift in American politics. For the Republican Party, this is an internal crisis that could redefine its future. They gained trifecta control in 2024, partly thanks to Musk's money, and now that same benefactor is threatening to tear down the house he helped build. This feud exposes the fragile nature of political coalitions, especially those built around powerful personalities and large sums of money. The MAGA movement, which seemed so unified under Trump, is now facing a significant challenge from a former ally who has the resources and the platform to cause serious disruption. If Musk actively works against Republican candidates or successfully launches a viable third-party movement, however small, it could significantly impact the balance of power in Washington. The GOP's slim House majority is particularly vulnerable, and the upcoming 2026 midterms just got a lot more complicated for them. For the Democrats, this is an unexpected boon. A divided Republican Party, busy fighting internal battles and potentially losing a major funding source, is much easier to compete against. They will be looking for ways to exploit these divisions and pick up seats they might not have otherwise won. The broader American public, meanwhile, is left to wonder about the influence of billionaires in politics. When one individual can pump hundreds of millions into an election and then threaten to withdraw that support or use it to punish a party, it raises serious questions about the health of democracy. Looking ahead, this saga could have lasting consequences. Will the Republican Party be forced to recalibrate its platform or its reliance on mega donors? Will Musk's actions inspire other wealthy individuals to take similarly disruptive political stances? Or will this ultimately be a temporary storm that the GOP weathers, perhaps emerging more consolidated around Trump? Right now, it's too early to tell. But one thing is clear, the relationship between money, power, and politics in America is undergoing a very public, very messy, and very important stress test, courtesy of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And we all have a front row seat.